Good morning, traders, and welcome back. And today we'll be covering some swing trade breakdown, of course, looking into some strategies as I keep pushing in the swing account, of course, ready to get after the day, guys. It is an interesting day. Of course, we were kind of climbing up there, and then 8 o'clock hit and we start to drop here. Then we get initial jobless claims that just came in. We'll talk a little bit about that. We'll get to the numbers right here in just a second here, guys. Stick around. We got another great day for you guys this morning. I'm going to be looking to see what I can find, what I can come up with. If you guys out there, what you guys think of the crypto watch yesterday. We were looking for crypto stocks to make a move, and there it goes. Big breakout in Bitcoin. And now looking for others to kind of follow, right? We'll talk a little bit more about that. We did get initial jobless claims to come in at 220,000, 227,000 versus a 236,000 estimate. So all kind of bullish action there. There's really not a negative that came in there. But definitely we're seeing the downside action come in. Let's take a look at the market here, and I can show you guys how we're starting to do that leak. And we'll be watching to see what happens out there, right? Can this leak actually kind of hold on towards the open? We'll wait and find out, guys. All right, let's take a look here. As you guys see the SPY coming right back down, will it be able to get right back to the highs? You guys can see the 15-minute chart. Pretty much we're looking like we want to come back to that 620, but we're going to have to break a trend line approach. So that's why I always draw a trend line, guys. Wherever you feel like you can see it, now you're getting more touches towards the 625. Will we break up to the 625 today or come crashing towards, let's say, 620? Still in play. One of the things that I'd also point to is that just take a look at the average true range, right? We were actually starting to get an expansion again. And if you look on the daily chart, it's still kind of a drop here, right? So as long as that's dropping, I think we're still looking good. When that starts to expand and volatility increases, that's where we got to be a little bit careful for that quick down move. Right now, we're just sideways trying to continue up. And what does this gives us? This gives us the ability to what? Bring down the RSI some, right? Bring it down some. Now getting another spike could make another push higher back towards these higher RSIs into the 90s is what I'm going to be looking for. We'll see if we can continue climbing today. It's not a bad day to start the day. We'll take a look at the playbook. We'll take a look at the sunrise report. Let's get into stocks that you could be watching today for a play. All right, first one up, guys. We got to talk, of course, about AMD. I've been waiting for this stock to really make a move, and now we're getting started again. I've talked about this stock since the break at 116. We've been ways away from there, and then what did I talk about the last couple of days? It's just sitting on this 9 EMA looking for a rip higher, and we got it this morning. That's now up there towards 143. And I know a lot of people are watching NVIDIA, but they're missing out on AMD. Look at the rip there, $3 rip there. And there it goes. Now it could be making its way to 150. And I don't know if it's going to get there today, but I do think that we've been on the breakout. So this is definitely one to watch and could keep running. We'll see what happens there in AMD. Not a bad mention. From 116 now to 142. We're talking big, big money, guys. We're talking at least 20% higher in AMD. All right, we'll take a look at different stocks out there. If you guys got a stock you guys are watching, go ahead and throw it up in the chat. We can take a look at different names out there. We can keep it moving. Let's get to the next one up here, guys. The next one we're going to talk about is, of course, the Picard swing. And you guys can see I've been long that swing for a while now. You guys see the cash here at the bottom. We're looking for Picard to get above 100 and start to make a bigger breakout. Of course, I've drawn the line where I expect this to go to. That could be a move to 110 and above. Really looking for the break of 100 today so that we could really start to get back up there. Maybe we can put a bar up there to 105, and then I can just keep riding the trend higher. We'll see what happens with this stock. Definitely, I like it. If we want to see it go, we want to see CAP break a new high. We want to see the XLI continue to push higher. So if this starts to pull back fast, that's where you got to be a little bit careful. Even Deere, right, just did an undercut yesterday. Let's look for a rip back up towards 525s. That could be something to keep your eyes open for. All right, last one I'll give you guys is going into the nuclear space. I'm looking to see these start to get hot again. NNE kind of hanging out here, really ready to kind of take the next step. So I think in my eyes, we're looking for this to kind of recover the 9 and get back up towards the 36, break the 35 really quickly, and make a run here towards maybe 38 or 39. I like the way it looks. It just needs some buying to really step up here. You could see it on the weekly, how it's kind of just hanging out here. We could still get a dip, but I'm really looking for a rip above 36 to start going to the 40s and beyond, right? SMR is another one to look at here. You can see how the weekly's been a little bit closer on the bull flag status. So then now what we can do is we can expand this, right? I was looking for this to kind of make the move. I haven't played SMR off that 9 EMA one day where I made some good money. Let's see if this can reclaim this trend line and kind of hold in on the bottom side of things. And so I'm going to pull this line down to this support. That's where the support is right now, towards the 30s. We've been seeing this decline, right? So I'm going to put this right above here to these body highs, right? We're trying to reclaim that. And we're definitely having kind of a channel attempt, right? Where it keeps kind of holding in this channel. Could make an attempt back down, right? That's what you got to be looking for. But really, this started off when we started to get into closer down here. So I think it's somewhere in between this that we got to look for the action. We could still get a dip and then the move higher, but keep your eyes on these names. GEV, of course, still hanging on. CEG, those type of names, not doing too bad. What about OKLO? As this is pulled back to the 9 EMA, looks like now kind of your cup and handle already got solved. Now you need to see some real bottoming and a reversal back to the upside. And just to mention with this one, guys, I will be watching different plays out there. I'm also watching what happened with MP. We'll talk a little bit about it in the Sunrise Report, but looking at this to potentially play some lithium names. And I think that we could start seeing some lithium names go higher. We'll talk a little bit more about that as we keep moving. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this. Of course, the playbook. We'll get to the Sunrise Report and talk about all the stocks that are moving out there and why, of course. Let's get right to the action. You guys smash that like. Let's go. It's time for the Sunrise Report. All right, traders. Of course, the futures were a little steady this morning. They were kind of moving back and forth, but they were, some were flat, some were kind of slightly down. But really, it was all about talking about yesterday. Yesterday, we definitely got a nice little AI field rally. I think it was more of the crypto, but we won't get into that conversation. That's just more along what people are talking out there. Of course, NVIDIA surged 2% and briefly became the first company valued at $4 trillion. Who was talking about NVIDIA yesterday that could get hot? AMD getting hot. Let's take a look at those types of names. Broadcom, yeah, right here, of course, on Trade the Pool, guys. I can't trade them all. Unfortunately, one of the things of running a show is that I'm going to miss some moves, but I will be able to call them out and be able to show you guys that, hey, this is moving. You got your opportunity. And boy, what a nice move there in NVIDIA and AMD, Broadcom, and others. All right, we'll keep it moving. We'll get off of that. We'll be taking a look to see what goes on in the tariff drama. It's really just drama at this point. The Trump's tariff machine rolls on. President Trump confirmed late Wednesday that a 50% import on copper tariffs will go in effect in August 1st, and a 50% tariff on Brazilian imports is also coming. What the hell do we get from Brazil? Well, I don't know, man. We'll see what happens there. And even if this tariff will stick, it's really come to the point where I don't even think the Republicans believe these tariffs will stick, or they're just always thinking like, and I think everybody's starting to get to the point. Trump, your art of the deal doesn't work anymore when everyone knows this is the way you work. We'll see what happens there. Fed, of course, split on rate cuts and warning of tariff-driven inflation. The Fed's June minute meetings released Wednesday revealed that the division amongst the policymakers on future rate cuts. That's exactly what I said about it yesterday before the minutes came out. Just look to see which ones want to cut, which ones don't. How is that conflict, right? Bank of America, though, echoing those concerns of inflation that were mentioned by the Fed, and we expect inflation to accelerate due to tariff-related price increase. An economist, Stephen Jiao, adding that raising equity markets may also lift inflation and via higher portfolio management fee. So we'll see what happens there as we get more inflation talk. Let's go over now to Delta, as Delta soaring higher. And who was talking about that the airlines could come in here and get the move right back up? You know, your boy Money Mitch all over this consumer sentiment trade. We talked about it, how the consumer sentiment had changed and how UAL and DAL could see a lift off of this. There you guys have it. Now starting to get the move. Now you go to the weaker ones like AAL and Save. These could really start to make the move. Spirit Airlines, you got Love, not Spirit, right? It's gone, but Love was one that I was watching for a while now. It's definitely shaking that bottom. It had that bottoming event, and it's turning around. It's still near the pandemic buying levels. Yes, I said that. Love is by the pandemic levels. So if for some reason Southwest Airlines was able to turn things around, this is a great opportunity and investment outlook there. We'll see what happens there in Love, Southwest, and others in the airline space. I think this is one to watch there. And this is all have to do with what? Of course, industrial is doing well, consumer sentiment changing. We saw how the cruise lines took off, right? We saw how that happened. We talked about also kind of some apparel names, Nike really getting things started. We'll see how these stocks do now. All right, let's keep moving. Let's get out of that report. Of course, Delta Airlines was jumping 11% after beating the Q2 expectation and reinstating the 25 profit guidance. So EPS came in over the expectations here. Revenues also beat at 15.51 versus the 15.48 expected. Net income was up 63% year over year. Bookings have stabilized, though patterns have shifted to last minute planning. Premium class and Amex revenues remain strong. Main cabin sales fell 5% year over year. They did expect to get EPS between $1.25 to $1.75 versus $1.31 estimate. So pretty much in line and also leaving room for a big beat. The airlines plan a surgical capacity cut post-summer peak. We'll see what happens there, how that works out. All right, let's move over now to MP Materials, as MP Materials soars as a Pentagon backs the rare earth push. MP Materials, of course, has a lot of connections with China, and shares exploded 41% after the Pentagon announced that it will become the miner's largest shareholder. Yes, you heard that, guys. Buying a new preferred shares class, and I've been watching MP Materials pull back for a while now. This was a SPAC, so I know that all you guys hate SPACs, but this was one of the best ones. I still remember when I interviewed the CEO, and I might be able to get the CEO to come back on. I know that he's probably busy talking to the Pentagon, but hey, who knows? Maybe this could give us the ability to really start to see a change in lithium names. That's why I'm calling LIT. That's why I'm calling SQM. That's why I'm calling a bunch of lithium names. And if you really want to go dirt cheap, why not look at Lithium Americas if you're really trying to dig down deep? And what does this more have to do with? It has to do with the materials move, guys. Materials right now are hot, hot, hot. And I don't think they're stopping anytime soon. We've seen how copper has gone, right? We've seen how palladium has gone recently. We've talked about uranium names. We saw the move in gold. We're looking at the move in silver. I mean, do you guys really think inflation's not heading higher? I don't know, guys. I don't know how you can't think that inflation's heading higher, but the market's still rosy. And at least for right now, we're still looking good. All right, let's keep going. We'll get out of that MP Materials talk. We'll go to Bitcoin as, of course, new fresh highs. I'm just going to go to BITO as I've been talking about. Would we make a run to the trend line yesterday? Really good day, guys. I was able to nail this from 21 to 2150. Got a really nice gain towards the end of the day that helped me get back into the green on the day, even though I was down at one point near like $500. So the bounce back was really nice here, guys, on BITO. I made some money back in BITO. I made some money back in HIMS to the upside, but BITO really getting things started. Now we can take a look at Mara. I talked about these when these were at the bottom and no one believed in them. That was when CleanSpark was breaking $10. They were like, no way. CleanSpark's not going back to that trend line. Yeah, Well, look here. And I love that I do this, guys, and I show you guys this. I actually expanded this line here, but I originally created this on 12/12 and updated it on the 30th of June. That's when we started to really kind of make the move. We were right here on this spot right here, guys, where I created and expanded that trend line, thinking that we'd go in playing into that trend line. And that was a good move itself. That's a 16% move higher. And we'll look to see if this keeps working. There's tons of trades like this that I've been bringing up, guys. But Mara also was one that I talked about. There's the break, a nice pullback hold. It's looking like it's on a clear breakout. And this could help a name like Circle, right? I haven't traded it once, CRCL, but now that we're getting new highs and we're getting that kind of bottoming, look for some strength to maybe come into this name and get a little wild, because stocks have been wild. We all saw what happened with BMNR yesterday, big down move. And I got to give a shout out to the man, the guru himself, Stephen Ducks. I've interviewed him plenty of times. He made a cool six-figure trade on this BMNR. Yes, you heard that right. $1 million trade there. Oh, not even more than six figures, seven-figure trade. Hey, $1 million trade there on BMNR. This is the best part. And I it's hard for me to even believe this, but he paid $300,000 in borrows. Well, you didn't have to borrow BMNR yesterday. Trade the pool had you for free. Well, yeah, this is definitely a name that we need to start going after here, guys. I'm going to start trying to have an account where I can get after a name like this, right? You want maybe to be a little separate from other accounts so you don't ruin another one, but I need to have one specifically just for these high flyers, whether it be penny names, whether it be names like this that go, this name really went parabolic, but there's other names, right? SBET recently had gone parabolic. They come back down, right? They all come crashing down. It's hard to nail them all, but it's definitely on the radar. All right, guys, let's see if there's anything else here on the Sunrise Report. We can talk about the Kellogg's deal, right? So KLG, Kellogg's ripping yesterday, absolutely shredding to the upside. And this jumped on 50% after the Wall Street Journal reported that Ferrero is nearing a $3 billion acquisition here for the U.S. cereal maker behind Fruit Loops and Frosted Flakes. Great. That's what exactly happened to the stock here as Kellogg spun off in 2023. The parent snack company, Kellanova, home to Pringles, is being acquired by Mars for $36 billion. So it seems like Kellogg's wants out, and there's money to be made here. We'll see how this stock performs. Of course, Nvidia's been hot like lately. We'll see if that can continue to run. AMD is still definitely my pick. But hey, you guys already see it there. 143 now, 05. What a move this pre-market. I came in the morning looking at it at 141. Maybe should have already gone long because we're $2-3 away from that now. And that's just how it goes with AMD. When it goes, it runs away from you. That's how the way it trades. I've talked about this plenty of times here, right here. Trade the pool, guys. Smash the like. Now to catch you guys in the chat. What's going on? What are you guys looking at? Where do you post the setups? Stick around. Stick around. We're going to walk through this different setups and the way that I like to take swing trades. Like, let's say like a perfect example was Pakar. So nice little pullback on the daily, right? 9 EMA is a lot of the times when I'm looking for stocks that are strong. I'm looking for long-term patterns that I can see a nice breakout, right? AMAT was one of those names that did a nice little breakout above the trend line. So you get that trend line break, a throwback to the 9 EMA, undercut, right? What we've been talking a lot of. And we're going to talk more today about this specific setup, right? I have some other names that I can actually bring you guys to them and show you those setups right now. So like this Rubrics that just recently did this undercut. A lot of traders, they get stopped out on that recent undercut. They're holding on to the support. They probably have a buy somewhere here. They get washed out through the support of 87. It goes all the way down here to 85. People hit the out button, and now they're looking at this stock wondering why the hell they got out in the first place. But yeah, stocks like this, the setups, we'll be talking about them here. We'll break them down throughout the show. All right, Dollar General is what I'll buy today. Well, I have an actual picture that I can bring in with Dollar General and seeing how they're changing prices. Yes, inflation is even coming to the Dollar General, but let's talk a little bit more about that during the show. We're going to kick things off for real. We'll bring on Michael Noss. We'll start the show. We'll start the trading action, of course. Different stocks out there moving this morning. There is a stock up 217%. Looks like a buyout news on DALN. Looks like a news company. Dallas News Corp. I don't know who's trying to buy something in Dallas, but looks like someone went shopping there. And there's other setups like this VEEV. You see that undercut? We're going to talk all about these undercuts. Looking for these are priceless. We'll talk all about that and that setup. We'll get to the action. It's time, guys. It's time to go to trade the pool. It's time to start that countdown. Bring on Michael and get to the trading action. You guys out there, let me know what's your top stock on the watch list. Hugo wants 200, baby. You ready to get back to the trading action?
You aim, you shoot, and make money.
It's going to be a great day. You guys know where you're at.
What up out there, traders? All right, let's get things started. Today, we'll talk a little bit about swing strategy breakdown. So I'll even let Michael give one of his strategies out a little bit and give you guys some insight. And we can always dive deeper in this. But like always, check out the new swing plans from Trade the Pool. You guys see it at the top there. Check them out, get to the action, and get to some swing trading, right? If you guys haven't checked this out, or maybe you've used some of our day trading evals, don't forget, we got the swing. We got the new programs, right? Even a flexible one that you guys can hold on and wait for the big setups versus just trying to take a setup every day, right? That's the big thing with the swing trading. You don't got to trade every single day, but of course, we're all looking for that money to be made. I'm in Picard this morning. Let's go ahead. Let's bring in Michael Noss this morning. How we doing, my friend?
We are doing well, and I'll just apologize to the audience right off the bat. I'm probably going to have to go on mute a fair amount just because we're getting some work done to the house. You can see I'm somewhere new. But yeah, just getting some upgrades to the office, air conditioning, heat, all that kind of fun stuff. So a lot of people just walking around, drilling into walls, things like that.
Boom, boom, boom. Builders at work. So maybe the home builders today is the trade. We'll see what happens there. Home builders were hot yesterday. Bitcoin was hot yesterday. Man, it was a fun day. At least I can say I feel like I timed that move at least pretty well. Bitcoin, new high, ripping up, home builders strong. A lot of this probably rate outlook, but yeah, it's starting to get hot.
Well, and I really like the look of this home builders, right? Because anytime you see something like this that looks like a large, obvious top that ends up not being a top, that to me is amazing because it means a lot of people were betting against it. A lot of people were short. When those people are wrong, that's when we can make money, generally speaking, right? When they're wrong, that's when you profit. But yeah, Bitcoin, we've been watching this tight base here, and Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, they all kind of look the same. And we were kind of yesterday just talking about how remarkable it was that we were so tight for so long. It's very uncharacteristic of crypto to be in this tight of a range. So had a nice little breakout yesterday, 110. We keep hammering that number. 110 seems to be everything for Bitcoin. So now we just want to see, I think this price action, since the breakout is fine, we just want to see a couple days or so not failing this breakout of 110, because there was definitely somebody there selling or shorting, and then we just need to see that they're gone, and there just needs to be a little bit of space from 110 or time on off of that. So even if we just did this for another day or so, I think that's fine, just to show the market, give the market the confidence. Finally, we've made it through 110, and then from there, it's about all-time highs, challenging these all-time highs, which is 112 even, right? And it got to 112.40 yesterday. So technically made an all-time high by like $1. We'll see if it can hold that and then potentially break that to new highs. So yeah, over 110 is great, but again, I'd like to see that new all-time high break. One thing that was interesting though is this is the Ethereum Bitcoin chart, just showing whether or not Ethereum's doing better or Bitcoin's doing better. And you can see a big pop in this ratio yesterday, showing some good outperformance to Ethereum. So I know there's been a lot of crypto bros waiting a long time for altcoin season. Maybe finally now.
I think so too, and I think the big part of this was waiting for all time highs, and the important part, to shake them before we send it. This is getting too much, man. Where I think that, like, if you even just go off the standard like charts and patterns, they don't tell you about that liquidity move. They don't tell you about that squat. I think even like this has to do with more everybody trying to play these patterns like very symmetrical. The support's here. I'm looking to hold on this support. They wash them and then they send them. That's what we've been seeing a lot of. So what does that mean? You can't be holding your stops probably off the support, because if you are, you're going to get triggered out. You're going to get stopped out, and the stock is going to run without you. That's just what I've seen on so many names. I even see people today talking about it on different names, like where they just got run over last 2 days on that pullback.
And that's a game as old as time. I always love to look at reminiscences of a stock operator, right? By Lavelle, who was doing Jesse Livermore time. He talks about it all the time, and that book was written like 100 years ago about how, right, you would look for major areas that everyone else participates in. You know what I talk about all the time: the market doesn't care about news; it cares about positioning. So, 100%. This is also why, generally speaking, closing prices are, if in my testing anyway, running all these back tests, is the best ways to manage stops. Right? People, I find, put stops way too tight. You know, and I think a lot of it is being trained the right thing, but just in the wrong way. So, for example, right, we're always talking about manage risk, keep losses tight, all of that. And then a lot of people think that that means, okay, just put a stop at, somewhere that's obvious to keep losses tight. And yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's generally not the way, right? You want to let things breathe a bit. You got to understand that there are, participants in the market. They don't know where your stop is. That's like, but they know where everybody's stop is. So like high day, low of the day, VWAP is a major thing, right? You hear everyone talk about certain moving averages, right? The most popular moving averages. You better believe that the algorithms know that this is where people play. So if you're close to that price, right, they'll push you to that price to get that liquidity. Same with like very defined support and resistance, right? If these things worked on their own, they would be just made into systems, right? So it's like anything, you could take a hammer candle, right? It's not going to work on its own, but if you combine it with, certain things, and you add layers to it, then you might get that slightly better win-loss ratio, and then, what you need to get going. But the other way to manage risk, the way I'm doing it with this new account, because we're upping the size now to $50 risk per trade, because I did 3 days with 25 and it got nowhere near. It was like plus or minus like $50 on the day. So we're upping it, and that's the way I'm managing risk, is just tons and tons of positions. So
yeah, I gotta say one thing, man. Is there anybody more cringe than Kramer?
oh no.
Oh man, I honestly, I think there's literally people that just are paid to come up with the cringiest reactions for him, and they just tell him in the morning, like, "Hey, we got this for you, man," because it's
Was
almost
that
like,
today?
yeah, 14
So
hours ago. But
that's got to be some sort of a top on Nvidia, right? That's got to be a
don't
short-term
trade
top.
it. The worst part is literally in the comments, everyone's like, bro, the CNBC money thing that you pay to, I forgot what it's called. I don't even pay attention to it because it's such BS. But the investment club. He literally
Mhm.
told his investment club to trim and sell some. Now he's like, oh, all those people that sold Nvidia, they were wrong. It's just
Wild.
I've never found somebody that can flip so quickly off their comments from like the prior day and then act like they never said it. At least acknowledge it. That's my thing, right? Like at least be like, yeah, I said to sell it and I was wrong and it's going higher. So those people that didn't sell it, good job for you. That sounds better to me, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's just cringe, man. I don't even know how this guy still exists. Don't worry, guys. I will be replacing him one day. Money Mitch
Oh,
will be
no shot.
replacing Kramer one day.
You
Said
could
it.
not pay me enough to do that. Dude's in the stock exchange at like 5 in the morning every morning, and he's there till like 9 at night. And it's just
Well,
yeah.
he's doing it wrong. I'll say
Yes.
that. He's doing it wrong because you don't need to be there that long. That's what
He's
you have interns for.
well, yeah, that I just don't. Yeah, that has to be some sort of short-term top
Oh
for
yeah. Oh yeah.
Nvidia. That picture has got to be. We'll look back at that and say, "Ah, man, I should have gotten out. Should have gotten out some."
Yep. We'll see what happens with that one. I just had to bring that picture. I saw that one and it was just like that was too easy for me. MP Materials, big rip up. We'll see what happens on that. The huge rip up though had to be that Kellogg's move. No one expected that, or did they? Seems like
Yeah,
somebody knew.
Kellogg's of all places.
Dude, there is so much loading up like in this space. Somebody knew, dude. The crime is legal out there right now, man. Be careful out there, guys, because it's crazy. I don't even understand the thing. There was some mad option load up here on this thing, so I'm sure somebody knew. And no, it won't be on CNBC. I don't think CNBC will exist by then, but we won't say that too loud. Let's keep going,
No, yeah,
guys.
well,
Let's
all the
keep
internet
going. Let's take a
goes
look at some stock
consistent.
trades out there. We got a lot to take a look at. A lot of stocks moving yesterday. What you like, my friend?
I have, I think, 53 names on the list to potentially get trades. So there's a lot in there.
I got
Couple
48. So that just goes to show you, I think we're in momentum times and we're still
Yeah.
riding the momentum. What do you got to do? Go with the flavor of the day, right?
Yeah, so I'm looking at the airlines, right? These are awful businesses that are gapping up today. Generally speaking, could be a good fade here. We have the perfect kind of setup, the VWAP to VWAP from there, and then AAL.
You're
Same
gonna
kind of
fade
move,
MP.
right? You can pick either one of those. MPs on the list potentially to
Yeah.
fade, right?
That
Spend the
one's a
whole
good
time
fade, I
above
think, for sure.
VWAP.
And even the airlines, I think, is a good fade today. I like these trades. I'd be buying them closer towards the end of the week. So I'm going to be watching, let's say, tomorrow after like let's say midday to start seeing some pickup on these. But I'm with you on the short right now because they're just too far gapped.
Yeah, so nice grind up here, nice push up higher. So just this is what I generally want to see before the fade is just this spends the whole morning above VWAP, grinding higher for that and for the airlines. They probably all look the same.
All the
I just
cold
picked
names.
DAL and AAL.
Yeah.
SBET again, got a
Gee.
great short on that one yesterday. I missed it this morning. That would have had to take it really early. I didn't have anything programmed in by then, but fading down there. Yeah. So a couple of those, trying to see what else I've got. I've got tons and tons and tons. This Kids, KIDZ,
The kids. I don't even know
selling
what that is.
here just to see if it reverses back through. So that's to the upside. Not many to
Passover
the upside.
Holdings.
Yeah,
This looks
no idea.
China.
Don't know.
Is it China?
Poet,
I have no idea.
POET. Poet Holdings is another one gapping up pretty nicely, looking for a bit of a
Oh.
reversal there.
Oh, it's Solana Treasury Holdings.
Sure, why not? What? Just everyone just stop doing business and go from
Dude,
there.
what are you guys doing? Small caps? So you're in the wrong business right now. Change your business. Take whatever cash you have and grab a meme coin. Oh man, these businesses are losing it. They're losing it out there, guys.
Yes. Yeah, we're gonna look at this and say this was a top in which um every company in the world that was a failing company is just like we're gonna buy crypto.
That scares me for crypto in the long
Like
run, man. I don't
I
know
would
about you, Michael. That scares me in the long run for crypto, especially because
I
crypto there's no volatility hold for crypto.
no, and at some point I'm kind of with you. This is gonna cause some sort of major collapse. I'm gonna be buying the crap out of Bitcoin when
Hell
it does.
yeah,
I think
Michael. Let's start the Bitcoin disaster savings account
uh,
and get ready.
the day that the whole MicroStrategy Ponzi comes undone is probably going to be the greatest buying opportunity in Bitcoin of all times.
Yeah.
Like it's going to happen at some point. I'm fairly certain. And when it does, you're going to get like a one day where Bitcoin's going to like get cut in half.
Yeah.
And if you have the cash and you have the capital there and you buy it, then I think you're loving life. But yeah, it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be one of those. It's gonna be really hard to kind of just hold your nose, and take some money and just YOLO in, and then go from there. Because yeah, this feels like it will. Now doesn't mean I'm going to do it now, right? Could Bitcoin or could crypto triple with all this craziness going on? Yeah. So it's like I always say, and this is a famous
Exactly. It doesn't.
George Soros quote: "If there's a bubble, you run into it." Right.
And stay with it until you hear it go pop.
Yep. And then
Right.
just unemotionally get out and then wait for kind of the extreme collapse that happens.
Yeah. You got to try to milk it because you don't get many of these. And you got to take the money. And Mitch in
Yep.
a suit. Oh, Talk probably hasn't seen me on New York Stock Exchange floor. I'm telling you, man. I always say you can't judge a man by how he looks on his couch. You can sure judge a man how he looks in a suit. You can't clean up in a suit. No bueno, man. No bueno. I've seen even homeless look great in a suit. Yeah, I'll share it with you guys. We got to do a New York Stock Exchange tour ourselves.
Yeah, we're going back.
Yeah,
Going back. It's been good. It's been
yeah.
a
I
couple
have one
months.
of the most popular New York Stock Exchange videos on YouTube. It was back when I was with Benzinga, but it was by the man himself. We got to give a shout out to CMT Jay Woods. Jay Woods, that's the
Runs the
man right there.
place. Yeah, his tours are amazing. The dude, he spent so much
No,
time
I
there. He
mean
knows everything about it.
he has his job when he wants to retire, which is just tours of the New York Stock Exchange for the
Yeah.
wealthy. They'll just come by and then he can just kind of give them tours. And man, the guy's like a historian when it comes to that. But I understand that because he loves that place like I loved it. I just was a little late. And I think you and I were just a little late, Michael. But we would have loved to have been there, right? I mean, it seemed like it was a really fun time. Let's say like 20, 30 years ago, man. It was a hell of a time to be there. But it's not the same like it is, right? It's not as exciting as it was. But
It's a giant TV studio now, right? It's where they film CNBC. It's where all these places are filmed, and it's still, it still has some of that magic from it. But you're there when the trading day is open and there's nobody there, right? Because why? It's for photo ops and it's for faster execution for like Citadel and places like that.
it's a
But
museum now.
yeah, but none of us. The servers are in New Jersey now, so they're not even the thing that actually runs the exchange doesn't even exist in New York anymore on the exchange floor. It's in like some warehouse park in New Jersey. So They moved it after the whole HFT thing, where people were spending insane amounts of money to try to get a couple feet closer to the New York Stock Exchange. They said, "Well, we're just going to just move this out somewhere else, and it'll just exist in its own little server farm, and then everyone gets equal distance to it, kind of thing." DAL is actually breaking down VWAP now, which is unfortunate. I want it to hold on for 12 minutes would be fantastic.
Early move. Yeah, I think that was a good look there. And I think UAL also nice little gap there. Love is strong, man. I'm going to be looking to see if that thing can pull back in the next couple of days, just because it's still at pandemic levels. Like, to me, like, I know Southwest has had its issues, right? I know that much, but anything that I can get by pandemic levels doesn't sound like the worst bet. AAL was also out that level just short while ago, and it's still in that area, right? Like, you're still in that 2020 time. So hey, if you guys think airlines aren't too bad in the long run, could be ways to look at this, right?
Yeah. It's it's just the strategy of the VWAP fades, and then the other thing is just airlines are just such a mess. This is the long-term chart on airlines. Makes me think that any gap up after the market has ripped like 30% in a straight line to new all-time highs, and now we're getting a little bit of a shot in the arm in airlines. I just kind of look at it and say, hey, you're dealing with some of this downtrend. Maybe you just fade some of that back to 52 or 53 or something like that would be a decent little trade.
Yeah, they're not the sexiest, that's for sure. But that's one thing that you can look at here. Of course, there has been some new things that have gone on with airlines, right? A lot of labor issues and things like that. At first, they couldn't get pilots and things like that. So I think things are starting to catch up, though. In the long run, I like that long-term chart on Love, especially the monthly. And with these airlines, sometimes go to the monthlies and they look a lot cleaner on the monthlies than they do on, let's say, a daily outlook. And in UAL and DAL are a little confusing charts. I will say that. I feel like their business has changed. They're definitely now the leaders in this space, and they're way more appreciated than the other players. So we'll see what happens with these.
We're talking about BMNR. I'm not even concerned about this stock. I'm just wondering how Rando's mom, if she got a good price on her out, or she's still diamond hands in. Like, man, I don't.
Steven Ducks, $1 million, over $1 million trade on this.
Wow.
You ready for this one?
Short, yeah.
Hold your pants, Michael. The guy paid over $300,000 in borrow fees.
That's the thing. The people, the low float shorter guys, man, the guys who just talk about and they only show like their blotter P&L number and don't include those borrow fees, because they're
paying up. But I like how he included it. He did it as a joke. He was like, well, sometimes you got to pay the borrow fee if you're going for a trade. Like, this was part of the trade cost. And if I was going to go for a big swing, I was going to go for a big swing. And shorting BMNR, and I saw the way he shorted it. So he shorted it right before the open, let's say maybe 9:25. Then he like right like close to where your green arrow is. He started to short right around there. Then he looked at the resistance and said, I'm going to go big there. I'm going to wait for a pop at the open, see the nearest resistance, and I'm just going to hammer it there. That's exactly. And you could see the shorts where he went in, and man, he made 20 bucks on those shares. And yeah, you make 20 bucks and I don't care how much you have, right? If you have, let's say like he had probably, I don't know, maybe somewhere between 20,000, if not more, 50,000 shares, and seeing it go $20. I mean, that's just, let's think about how much share he had. That's just it. Absolutely crazy. And I've actually talked to Steven Ducks in person. I love the way he goes about things. He's very mathematical. And that's how these guys can be. They're very, He's the closest to I seen what a quant in the kind of short guru game. He's very math focused.
Well,
But
because
I'll
a
just
lot
say
of
that.
them, I know a bunch of those quants in the short, low float game, and they're very quiet because their edges in this game is pretty razor thin. But those guys
Exactly. You
make
have to
a
be quiet though.
ton of money. Yeah.
I mean, there's certain strategies that you can't tell the whole world about.
Yes.
You know what I
No,
mean?
and
You tell the whole world about, you lose the edge, and then the next thing you know, you
and
can't
it,
make money
it's
on the trade.
it's these illiquid names, right? If these guys,
100%.
especially, if they said, okay, this is how I short, and they were very quantitative about it and it was systematic, well, that gets really easy for a hedge fund to run over them and say, oh, well,
Exactly.
I know how these people
Yep.
short, so let me go against them. But what I wanted to point out on this, I was looking at this yesterday,
Mhm.
and again, this is next week's project because look, it did the thing that we looked for, right? It cut through the pre-market high,
Mhm.
and then quickly in the next few minutes, and that's I think probably how we'll time it, is say, hey, we want you to go through the pre-market high or the pre-market low, and then in the next 10 minutes, 15 minutes, cut back down through VWAP. And if you had done that, technically, it was either right here or right here.
Go.
Doesn't really matter, 115 or 120. That was your short, and then your stop at the high of the day. And then just, right, holy smokes, probably wouldn't have had the guts to hold that long. But I think the out is going to be the last little part of this because again, we've seen this setup happen enough that I'm confident that if I build an indicator for it and we
Yeah.
just feed that indicator into TradingView or TrendSpider, and then from there it goes to Signal Stack, and then from there it goes into Trade the Pool, right? So
Yeah.
once we have the setup dialed in, it's just pick
Yeah.
20 stocks that you think it could happen today
And
on.
I think it's important to do what also Steven does a lot on these, right? So he researches the past moves. He is a historian. He could probably mention all the moves that have done something like this in the past, right? He's a historian. He also focuses a lot on these moves. And what does he say? You don't short first day movers. You wait for that first day for the stock to kind of drop. Then as the stock comes back up the following day, you're looking to start seeing rejections from levels. That's what he looks for a lot in that BMNR. And you can see that also in different like kind of parabolic trades like just SBET here. You can see, right, the parabolic action, the first day where it cuts. A lot of traders don't get that first day. But the bounce comes in, it rejects levels, and from that, you start getting the takedown, right? That's what he looks for all the time. Same thing in BMNR, right? The stock is pushing. The first day, he doesn't get short. He lets the next day come back to levels, starts to reject, and then now he starts to look for the short, right? I think that's something to learn from, right? It's not about shorting these the moment they're flying high. Just saying. Let's go back to Tesla. Let's take a look there. Tesla, how's she looking?
Well, yeah, and I just to hit on that, I think you're 100% right. I think a lot of people, when they think of shorting these low floaters, they think the day of, and
The
that's
day of.
usually
See it
when they
all the
get run
time.
over.
All the time.
Right. So yeah, a lot of these guys, they're looking 2-3 days later. Once the hype's died down, the chat room that pumped it is no longer talking about it. And that requires a level of patience. So if you're hearing us talk about that and you don't have that patience, that style's not for you, right? If you're trying to short it on day one, you can do it. There's strategies to do it. But yeah, I think a lot of the big guys, like you talk about, because they're building huge positions, they want to wait till after everything's done.
Yeah, some type of
And
break first. Some type of break first, right?
yeah,
Look for that type of style. And then the next thing I like is that they look for that break, and then the following day, they're not focused on trading it short. They're really focused on how the price action is acting at key levels. And sometimes as traders, I think we need to focus as how are stocks behaving at key levels versus actually trading them on those key levels, right? Focused on more the price action itself and what the stock's doing. How is it trading? How is it reacting? What's the sizing that's coming in there? Then we know positioning that you talk about often, Michael. Then we can position ourselves.
Yeah.
That's the approach. It takes some patience though, for sure.
But yeah, they're
takes
looking
some
for
patience.
trapped longs, right? And
Yeah.
you don't get trapped longs when the thing's ripping because the longs
Exactly.
are not, they're making money. They're doing fantastically. So
Yeah.
they're looking for, when the break happens, these longs are stuck. Then they squeeze them, right, by shorting into it and pushing the stock down, forcing these guys to cover. So they're playing the positioning game just like anyone else. And yeah, it's important to note that if the thing is ripping, they're not trapped. It's the same thing I say about a high short float. High short float doesn't matter when the stock is just falling apart because the shorts are winning. They have no, you want to have a high short float and then an up move that makes them nervous. And it's the same thing. You want to have everybody, all the retail pump and dumper guys long it, and then it cracks, and then you're starting to short it after that crack comes through. So I don't know what's going on. I couldn't find any news with Tesla, but did have this massive rip up, and then just as we were talking, that kind of completely faded right off the bat there.
Steph bringing in a good one, right? Another Solana expansion ecosystem move here, BTCM. So really nice move there, guys. This thing ripped fast, guys. It ripped in the morning. It was at 6:15. Already by 7:30. About an hour later, it was up about 228%. Now we'll watch to see what happens with this. But big rip up here. I'm looking for any pullback that can crack the 6 out the gates here, back towards like maybe even 550. Wick them and send them. That's what I'll be looking for in this name.
Yeah, it's a nice look, right? Especially if it can get back to that VWAP, something that doesn't matter as well. It just, there's nothing. I'm looking at the daily chart, right?
Yeah.
This is one of those crazy ones that's right, had to do a reverse split at some point. It looks like a D-SPAC, no, just a regular IPO. But there's nothing for a while. Like what, all the way up here, you could fill the gap at 10. That's pretty substantial there. So
yeah, but also probably high short. I don't know the short on this stock, but I think that's another thing to think about, right? Is does it have a high short interest? I can take a look at maybe the recent one, but 9:30s here, guys. Let's have some fun. Let's go to trading. Let's see what we can come up with, guys. We'll be watching to see what is moving in the markets here. SPY, can it get back above 625? That's my watch out the gates here. There's a trend line that we're running into. We're trying to reach above it right now. Let's see if we can get to 625 and put a hard open here.
Well, yeah, we have this post-market high yesterday and the pre-market high this morning, right at 624.50. So that's going to be our first hurdle to potentially get through, where we've hit that a couple times. We rejected from it. So I just want to keep a close eye on that. And then that's roughly, right, it's a little bit higher, but that's roughly the high of yesterday as well. So there's a lot going on in that zone. So let's zoom in. On the economic calendar, we don't have anything today, right? Just a bunch of Fed guys.
Yeah, there's not much.
I haven't even heard of that Fed guy, so probably not going to do anything. So far, just a bit of chop. Tried to get to that pre-market high and failed just right off the bat there. Nothing coming through the system just yet. We need to wait at least a minute or so for that. See if anything gets pumped through there.
BTCM already starting to get a little bounce there off the 7. Got some buys that come in right off of that $7 690s cut down. I'm still staying on the sideline on that, just mentioning it because it definitely did get some people trying to step up there at 7.
Yeah, if this can get, it's crazy how well this has.
There's DAL on the move down there. Not looking too bad.
Yeah, of course it is. Couldn't wait for the open.
No bueno. Didn't wait. MP might. MP's setting up there for you.
Yeah. This is an interesting one just because of how well it respected VWAP right here. I'm just thinking if it gets and holds through VWAP again, that'd be nice. Ideally, we would want to see that little undercut that we talk about first to get into the indicator we're going to build for that. But you can see the trades starting to come in here.
AMD hot out the gates there, guys. BTCM trying to get going here. I think it definitely has the attention out there. I'm just waiting for the flush down. The the fake out, right? I don't want to jump on this right here. It is trying to break the 8. We'll see if it breaks 8 and keeps going in. Oh, did it get halted? Yeah, halt. First halt there, 780.
For what?
BTCM, real quick.
Oh,
Oh,
I
you
still have
know?
it trading.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
Mine over there. There it goes. Mine like froze up there for a second.
Oh, he's careful.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, like my bids and offer were not moving for a second there. Maybe it was just a slight halt there. Not a halt, actual halt, but like price action just not moving for a second. It looked like it was halted.
Yeah, so
All
far the
right,
bot's
pullbacks.
loading up on some shorts here. Let's see what's happening with the SPY.
Nvidia pulling back out the gates, of course. You know, everybody that watches the news is trying to buy it today and getting their face stuffed in.
Ooh. And yeah, we just knew with that Kramer. As soon as Kramer started talking, we're like, oh, man.
APLD, our strategy that we like, man, doesn't look too bad on that one. I don't mind it on the swing side of things. We've made money on this in the past. So it's 940s is the bottom right now. It just undercut that. Willing to take some here.
Well, let's just paper trade that, right? So that would be a buy right there, or stop the low of the day, and then we're going to target probably what, 1.5, 2 times our risks. Let's just see, right?
All right. 48.
DAL. Just kind of chopping around here. It did put in a blue arrow right there, so I actually did get filled on some, of course, way down here as opposed to up there where I wanted it, but that's the nature of it. The 2-day view app is sitting around 52.50 right now, which would be a pretty decent little move. A lot of room to go there on that one. Steph talking about SUGP.
Sugar P. Yeah, it was moving yesterday. Sugar P. That's what I call that one.
Yeah,
Sugar P.
Nice little pop off the open there, that guy.
Give me some sugar.
Looking everything's down. RSP is actually doing better than SPY at about green for the day versus red. IWM getting hammered as per tradition. Defense
Bloom
up.
Energy. So far. SMR hot out the gates there. That's not a bad look. I'm going to take that APLD here. Risk a tight stop here on the low there. I can do like 21 bucks there on the swing account. Man, Pakar looking great here, guys. Already breaking towards the high, 99.26. Still got that swing on. I just wish I had more.
It's always the way she goes. If you're loaded up, if it's going well, you don't have enough.
That's the problem with separating my buying power right now in the swing account. I need more money, man. Like when I divide it up, Michael, I just feel like I don't make enough right now. I need more money.
Took a short there on Poet. Poet.
Poet. I like NNE today, guys. That was on the radar, and it didn't break down at all. Just gap and going here. Love the luck.
Go.
All right, I'm going to look for a cut down back towards 35 on NNE, and then I'm going to try to ride that if it can break the 35.20s on a pullback. What else is doing well today, guys? I'm looking around. SoFi doing well today. That's definitely doing well. Tesla, you got your rip up there in Tesla. So Tesla is getting a nice bounce today, guys.
Tesla AMD up 4%. Oh, even with
no, but just go look at Nvidia, guys. I'm telling you, man. It's not the one that is the old leader, guys. Look for the new ones that are really starting to take off. Like I'd rather have like a Broadcom than an Nvidia. It's also about the fundamentals that are coming into play. Nvidia is not expected to continue the growth at the record pace that it was at. And with that being said, the outlook on AMD is expected to ramp up exponentially. So I would rather go with the stocks that have the potential growth, a bigger growth outlook here than like a stock like an Nvidia. But that's just my preference.
Well, yeah, and there's an argument out there that Nvidia isn't even a kind of growth stock anymore, right?
Yeah,
That you could look at
exactly.
Nvidia and say this is a value name.
Mhm.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that argument at all.
There's that NNE wash down. I'll be looking for it. And AMD on the 9 EMA, we were talking about it this week, how it's just sitting there. And yesterday I talked about how it's starting to get hot. Boom. Rocket. And on the playbook, Evoke. Ooh, that thing's getting crushed. Here's that NNE pullback. I'm going to try to get it here, guys, below 35 if possible. SPY kind of pulling back a little bit there. Tried to make an attempt up there, kind of slowing down now. Q's also slowing down, pulling back a little bit here. Might get a little bit of a pullback.
Is Kellogg's a buyout?
Yes, it's a potential buyout. I don't know if you saw that 50% Ferrero.
Yeah. Have you seen the here? I'll show you. Have you seen the chart? Like,
yeah, 50% up.
Well, up, then acted like a buyout, and then just tanked right before the open, and then acted like
that might be that they don't think the buyout can go through. So
yeah,
of course, risk
that's something to
arbs
keep
would
an eye
love to
on.
jump on that, right? So, hey. All right, guys, starting a starter here long on NNE. I talked about the move, was waiting for the liquidity move. Here it came. Now I'm just taking a little bit here because I don't know how far the drop's going to go. So I'm just going to take 100 shares here, expecting to add back above 35s, 20s, looking for a 36 break, but just to put the perspective on.
All right, I have taken so many trades. I'll just probably best just to share this screenshot at this point.
Hey, out of that
instead of going over
APLD,
them.
took a $25 loss in the swing account. It just broke the low, and I'm not going to stay in it if it breaks the low. That's not the strategy.
So this is the life of a systems trader right here. So short, like you can see all these trades came through again, all position sized correctly, no buttons to be pressed. So short delta, short that poet, long Mobileye. That's one to take a look at. That looks nice. MBLY, just looking through that 2-day view app right there. Stop the low of the day. This is one that I forgot to mention this morning, but I do like the look of. Big sell yesterday, and then a little bit of a gap down today.
Yeah,
just under view app for a while.
Offering yesterday on that Mobileye. We'll see how it comes back up. HIMS is pulling back a little bit here. I'm looking to see if HIMS can really make a move today. Keeps kind of like trying to get into the gap, but it can't really get into the gap. Palantir strong out the gates here. You see how HIMS is like trying to lift off into that gap, but can't get it. So it's something to watch from both sides, right? Whether it makes the lift off or it could just cut right back down, right? It's definitely in limbo.
Yeah, it just needs like that news. What on Monday was enough to get it going a bit, but yeah, it just needs to get through into this gap. It's going to need a lot of. There's probably just a lot of people trapped from that prior move up to $63.
Archer looking good here.
So. Yeah, Delta, a lot of these airlines they sold off quick early, and now they're bouncing pretty significantly here. So I just keep half an eye on those just to see if this bounce holds and we move to pre-market highs, or if we fail here. So this is one that I have to kind of be constantly moving the view app price up here, just because it's moving so quickly.
Car looking good here. We'll see if it breaks the 100 now, and look to see if Cat can go with that. And look at Cat, the hat, baby. Let's go, Cat. So a lot of times what you'll see is that I'm not playing the leader because it's hard to play the leader a lot of the times. The leader, I would say, is Cat in this move. But Bakar is a lag trade that I've caught plenty of times off Cat and Deer's move. So I just look at the leaders, wait till they get hot, look for the lags to just jump on. Might not get as much, but Cat has been hot, 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 and it's a Trump favorite.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll see if the Qs can hold on here. Definitely have pulled back a good amount there. How's MSTR and Bitcoin names to start here? Pulling back, I could see that pullback. MSTR still holding in there. We'll see if it undercuts the support in the pre-market.
Well, yeah, and Bitcoin as a whole, right? It's coming back down to this 110 level, and we just desperately want it to hopefully bounce off 110 from the upside and then start to rip. If it fails this candle, this breakout candle, I think we're going back to ping 100,000 again if we fail this breakout candle, just because everyone was getting hyped again, and if they get disappointed twice in a row, I think that could be problematic.
Man, the stock that keeps going, and I've still yet to hear many mentions of AMAT. That thing is just pretty, but of course, everyone's watching NVIDIA and focused on not the semiconductor equipment stocks like KLAC, AMAT. Those are just too pretty, man. I feel like sometimes some traders just get driven into these other names just because of the media, and they're not catching the ones that are really flying. And SoFi, yeah. Yesterday, pullback day, little rest day, send it right back to the high on SoFi. It has the perfect retail following to push this thing like a Palantir. That's all I'll say. And I do have a friend that is invested in this. I'm not invested in this, but I got him in this before this wave, closer towards the 16 season. So let's just say he's calling me every day and being like, "Thank you, bitch." Thank you for putting it back on my radar, because he was the one that was a big SoFi fan, and I was like, yeah, that it's great, man. It's a stock at some point that will get the retail love. You just got to wait for it to get that retail love.
Yeah, Solana selling a little bit. Crypto's pulling back just a tad here, and same with the market, right? The market.
Yeah, overall sector is really mixed here. More sectors in the red from the open than green. Yeah, we're still kind of hanging in here right now. Leading the market, industrials, basic materials, and cyclical names. What's doing well in cyclical today? Auto manufacturers, luxury good, auto truck dealerships, things that you wouldn't expect, really kind of getting the lift there. Home furnishing, fixings, I think we're starting to see more and more of that overall rotation into certain names like that got hit with the tariffs. So that's definitely seeing that help. Auto manufacturers, of course, that's helping that Tesla move. Also, the reason why you might see Polestar up today, that just tells you, right? You're starting to see even Rivian up today. So you're definitely seeing that adjustment there.
Yeah, geez. This has got to be the worst.
The materials one is the one that I'm missing here, guys. And shout out to my man in the chat, mentioned MTC really quickly. That was the move today, and I missed it, man. I should have set an alert. I was looking for BTU. That's starting to move, so I'm going to go and jump in for BTU. But to tell you the truth, man, I should have been all over that METC move. Good call on that one. We talked about this one with, of course, the bill that came out. The bill, of course, supported more and more what? Coal energy for longer. So definitely shout out to my man in the chat that mentioned METC. That stock is ripping out the gates here today. Good shot there, man. Nice move on that one. Trying to catch it's who was it in the chat there? Oh, it was Wally. There you go with that first mention here at 909. METC pushing strong out the gates here. Look at that breakout, 1450 to 1625. What a move. Coal, baby. And they say that inflation's not coming. If you're saying inflation's not coming, you're not paying attention to things. Man, look at the materials. Look at the run we're getting in these materials. And I really don't think it's the demand driven so high. It's the pricing, all this tariff effect, steel ripping, gold has ripped. I mean, it don't look like it's gonna stop either. So metals and minerals are hot, hot, hot. Um, I talked about it today. I was like, if you're looking, you think this material trade is gonna stop anytime soon? I don't think it's gonna stop. Look at this UUU, really strong move today. MP getting that type of love. I mean,
Mhm.
yeah, the materials trade is on.
Yeah. And it's people can look,
At the excess.
yeah, it's likely inflationary, but then also if we're using a lot of materials to build a lot of things, that is not recessionary, right? So that's lovely, right? The material prices don't go up when the economy slows, because why would, if no one's building anything, right? Why would material prices go up? So
Well,
uh,
it could wouldn't it just be also the tariff effects on supply?
it could be, but if people weren't buying things, then
Like gold
if
and
no one was.
silver aren't up because they're using more gold and silver, right?
No, but it's because people are buying more gold and silver for a hedge, right? So if you're looking at things like coal, no one buys coal just to hold it, right? They buy coal because they need to spin up coal factories to
AMR,
build
another
stuff,
coal
right?
player that you can be looking at.
That's why they call it Dr. Copper as well, because it tells you the health of the economy. If copper is moving higher, it generally means that we're building things that need copper, which is electronics and right buildings that use that kind of thing, and
Mhm.
a lot of that. So.
Looking
Um,
good here in my BTU buy. Definitely chased a little bit, but already in the green. We'll look to see if this can run. If it comes back to VWAP, I'll just get out, get back in.
Yeah, we've
Looking for this
got
to run.
about 10 trades on, just and just hanging out in them. So we're short a lot of things, which isn't helping that the market is ripping, but it's okay because it will help from the swing side of things. Oh no, we just broke down to lows there, so that might help a little bit of that. Looking for at least maybe a test of the 2-day VWAP. That's still above pre-market low, so we have to see what happens there. Again, it's important to note, if we zoom out, right, we're inside today, right? So we haven't moved much of anything inside or outside the market. So we need, right, everything to kind of chill out a little bit and pick a direction. The problem we're having this week, and you'll see this more and more going into summer, is we don't have a lot of earnings. I think they start next week with bank earnings. That should be interesting. And then we don't have a lot of economic reports, which I think we get more of next week. So just means that it doesn't you don't um, you don't do nothing when the market's choppy. You just understand that you have to kind of curtail expectations, right?
Mhm.
And so, yeah, we did have a little bit. I don't know if I'd go as far as saying dumping, but we did move a little bit here in the queues. But it's one of those that I look at this as, because it's an inside day, and because we don't really have a lot of events going on, I'm treating every move, both up and down, as kind of guilty until proven innocent. So now I'm net short, so obviously I'm rooting for some sort of a pull down enough to cover some of these positions and then go from there. But just not need to wait to see that, right? And you can see we're bouncing a little bit here. If we just hold this 2-day VWAP area, we could see new highs in a few minutes. So I'm not trusting any move when we're inside, when it's an inside day. And I think that's a good and safe way to be. Right? Show me something, a break of yesterday's high or low, before I get too excited in either direction.
Coal, baby. The black gold. The black gold.
It's funny. It's always a funny story that they delisted the coal ETF. You can go to BTU and they delisted the coal ETF like right in this area, right here. They said, "Oh, coal's not interesting anymore. It's on its way out." And somewhere, or maybe it wasn't. It was somewhere during the Biden administration. Oh, it might have been over here. on some wicked down move. It was near the low of coal in general is when they delisted the coal ETF because no one was trading it. It wasn't making them any money to have it listed. And of course, that was the very low because that's how it works. As soon as no one cares about a thing, that's usually when it will rip.
All right, you got traders trying to trade that Tesla rip.
Yeah, Tesla holding up that well with what we saw in the Qs there. Still selling. Wow, now are we outside yesterday's range?
With some crazy interesting news there on coin. If you're wondering, coins kind of getting the rip today. Got some supporting news. It said that Coinbase CEO partnered with Perplexity AI.
Oh, interesting.
Okay. Uh-oh. Nancy Pelosi exercised $280 Broadcom call options she bought back in June 2024. She knows the top's in, man. I don't know.
Oh no. Well, I need to sell.
Like to see Nancy selling out.
You just sell the calls at that point, right? Shorted a little bit here on Palantir. You can see the alert came through. I see the alert pop up and then I just hear the beep and then I hear the British man yell. So it's a lot coming in.
The British are coming. The British are coming.
But it just tells me that everything is working. That's why I really like those audio alerts. Even if I wasn't here talking to you guys as a systematic trader, this is the part of the day that I'd be sitting here and just making sure everything's working okay. And then from there, you just kind of move on.
Qs are still dropping pretty fast here, guys, but I don't see a big jump in the VIX there for the amount that the Qs are dropping. SPY is like kind of hanging on the support. That's helping things.
Yeah.
Top of the list, SoFi for me, Tesla and Grail, Bloom Energy also that I've been mentioning, but I think that's on the pullback, even though it's green. MSTR finally a nice little rip higher, so that could help some Bitcoin names.
What does that mean? Yeah, it's Bitcoin.
Bitto bottoming around 2130 this morning. Doesn't look too bad there.
Solana looking okay. Ethereum both did this crazy rip in 2 minutes and then right back down 2 minutes later. Here's the updated list for everyone that's looking. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 names.
Seems like the cybersecurity trade could be falling off here, guys. I'm catching it really, I wouldn't say quickly here. It's still half an hour into the market open, but it seems like the cybersecurity names got the flush today, guys. Zscaler, Datadog, 5% down from the gates. PanW down. The cybersecurities are getting their sell-off moment right now. Momentum shifting there, that's for sure. Snow. You see, like, this is what I mean by industry-wide moves sometimes, guys. It's not about one stock. You're seeing that stock, you're thinking a little bit, but when you see it's all over the space, that's a telling sign, right? So there you guys see at least cybersecurity really taking a hit today.
Yeah. And, this, like I meant, I wish, again, the Qs versus the SPY is just a huge dramatic difference. The SPY is still above pre-market low, hasn't really moved. Just grab that. Our SPY is just sitting here. It's not doing anything, but the Qs are selling. So that just shows that's probably why, right? You're seeing those names, certain tech names are just getting sold here, which just shows us that, that's, one of those sector-specific moves, right? And this, if you go take a look at the heat map, you can just see it right here perfectly. We have technology up, we have finance mostly up, and then you have tech services and electronics down, right? Producers right? With the XLI and the XHB, people that build things are up. People that heal us are up. People that fund everyone that's doing that is up. Retail is up, except for Amazon, and then it's just tech that's getting kind of beat here pretty hard. So we've been saying it, right? If you've been here listening, we've been saying it. Is this is rotation, right? The Qs are having a bad time, and everything else is doing just fine. Right?
Yeah.
You look at like JP Morgan at new highs of the day, moving higher. You've got XLF moving higher. You got XLV.
Yeah,
moving
financials
higher.
just pushed. So that's a good
Yeah.
look. Good look, good mention. You got to be fast on it. Ha, pun intended, fast. I'm looking at it.
But yeah, and you can see it just by looking at it, right? Qs are tech. You can see the same thing with XLK, which is just the Spiders technology sector. Spiders technology is bleeding. Right? XLF, which is financials, are doing well. XLI, which is industrials, people that build stuff, they're doing fine. So this is, and I remember us saying this like a week ago, is hey, if you're someone who only trades big cap tech, you might be in for it. It might be a bit of a rough time. If you're someone who can, you tune into shows like this, you have a process in which you can trade multiple securities, you might be doing just fine, right? Like, I'm looking at my swing account and I own a lot of things that are not big cap tech and they're doing okay. And then anything that I had that was big cap tech is selling a bit. This is the problem here. So, right, TSLA, I saw that and I said, hey, I want to short it back through VWAP. So I added TSLL to the list. And you can see no blue arrow alert. So I didn't get that trade because just the double leveraged didn't move the same as the other one. Just it's a whole volume type thing. That's the difference there. So I need to actually.
All right, took a little bit of METC and looking for it to jump right back towards the high. We'll see what happens on that. Pakar almost breaking 100. Just right in that swing, man. Wish I would have more. I'm up about 120 on the name. So I'll just keep that going. Almost 3% on Pakar.
Yeah, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking for, right, where's the relative strength? Where's the relative weakness? Where are, quote unquote, they selling and where are they not, right? So if you're in an industrial name, some of these larger, more boring boomer style names, they're doing really well. If you're in the fun stuff, not so much.
Is this even real? PHH? Sometimes you see some charts that just are like, is that even real?
Yeah, that was the same, just a scam, like a straight, just what was the OS something?
Oh my God.
It was a China name, happened a while ago. And yeah, this, from what I read,
How does that even happen?
on Twitter.
How does that even happen? I don't know. It's like, does no one do their due diligence?
Well, so it says biotechnology, so probably just don't do what they say they do, or what they do is just nothing. But yeah, it just looks like a nice solid uptrend before then too.
Yeah,
nice,
man.
like just grinding higher, and then boom, all of a sudden. This is why you have to use stops.
Yeah.
Even if they're wide, you've got to.
SPY is slowly dipping now, guys. VIX starting to climb. So we're actually getting that VIX move. But like I talk about with the VIX, I need to see more than just a 30-cent spike. I need to see a $60 cent in like one candle to really get excited to get that downside's coming in, right? Just feel like you gotta kind of wait here, see what happens.
Well, and we're probably not going to see that in the VIX because, right, as we know, the VIX tracks the S&P 500.
Yeah.
And the SPY is just doing just fine, right? It's like you almost need, there probably is, you almost need a VIX for the Qs. That is going to probably be spiking here because the Qs are moving, right? The SPY hasn't moved, so it makes sense that you're not going to get a move on the thing that tracks the inverse of the S&P 500. So The SPY right now so far, right? This orange line right here is a 2-day VWAP. Hit that almost to the tick, and then we're bouncing here. Again, this is definitely one of those days that if you're a short guy, you want to focus, you know, on the stuff that's falling, because there's a lot. If you're looking to short, it's just not in the SPY sectors, right? It's not in the energy, industrials, financials, that type of thing. It's just Apple, Nvidia, right? The big cap tech guys are having a bad time.
All right, starting to see health getting strong here.
Yeah, so someone is commenting, yep, Palantir is working out nicely. I've actually have to remove
Johnson
the
and
VWAP.
Johnson having a decent chart right there. So it shows me rotation into those names. You were talking about XBI yesterday. That's looking good, man. Another move into that. Seeing names like AbbVie, healthcare is the one that's almost leading the action back right now in energy.
Yeah, so far a pretty good day for the bot. You know, haven't done anything. Haven't hit a button, essentially. Haven't done anything myself yet. So just watching the bot go. It's working perfectly. Still have to find time and work on the once a day trigger. But other than that, everything's doing great. It's very liberating to just. I've picked the stocks for it to trade, and right, I've got my hands off the keyboard, and then away it goes.
All right, looked at HIMS because I see the health area kind of coming back, but still doesn't want to go on that one. So I'm just going to probably leave it on the sideline there. Not seeing much today, guys. It's a lot of like kind of slow leaks. A lot of slow leaks out there, guys.
Oh, Rando, you found a trigger word for me, man. I don't like the whole playing with the house's money thing. It's still money, right? It's still, just to say, oh, I'm up a bunch if they sell off, that's bad. It's like, well, would have been better if you had an exit plan, some stop losses in place. Right?
Yeah, I don't mind that approach if it's a good company, like if you feel like it's quality. But when it's a penny stock or a stock like that, you got to be telling yourself, like, I think you ask yourself that question: Can this company survive and actually become something, right? But there's nothing wrong with playing the house's money, but make sure it's something that you want to maybe hold.
It's the best I can do with her. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, it's just one of those things I hear people say all the time. Say, oh, well, I'm up on it, so I can, and it's like somehow the stock knows that you're up on it, and you can play it different. It's like,
so the definition that people are using on that is a little bit flippy floppy, right? I would consider house's money over 100% gain.
Yeah, and you sold enough.
House's money, right?
I look at that as like you're in a position where you just don't care at all. Like, say you had 1,000 shares of a position and it doubled, and then you sell like 800 shares of right. You've already made not just your money back, but a whole bunch of other money. It's just it's one of those. It's the same thing that triggers me when people say the old saying that winners take care of themselves. It's like, absolutely they don't. Right? They, unless the company gets bought out, at some point you have to sell the company in order to realize any money from it. So yeah, that just becomes a bit of a trigger.
All right, guys, gonna take a little bit here of I'm trying to get HIMS, but man, HIMS is fast. It bottomed out there. It came back about 60 cents there on the support break of the 50-60 area.
Well, and look right where. So that's the 2-day VWAP sitting right in that area.
Yeah, they're washing some traders through that level, and they're trying to bring it back through 51. Thinking if the move might be to just go smaller and wait for 51 break, then risk all the way down to that 50. It's just the way that I've been trying to do a little bit more of especially the way that things have been working on the swings.
Yeah, well, that would be
a little bit more room.
Right? That would actually be the setup, right? We've undercut the pre-market lows. So 51 would be VWAP. So basically, if you just say, okay, now if it gets back through VWAP, I'll buy it with a stop the low of the day and target whatever. Yeah, I think that's the setup we're going to be going with. So getting some more long. So a lot of what this spot is trying to do is like market make in a way, you could call it, where as the market moves lower, this one bought this CAPR down here. These are other setups that I'll talk about a bit. These are ones that we do on my website, but basically second day plays. So looking for a large first day move and then pullbacks after that. And yeah, so as the market's kind of coming in and, I'm starting to buy more stuff on the way down. So selling, right, covering a bit of shorts and then buying back into some positions.
All right, METC looking decent for me as it starts to bounce back up. We'll see what happens on that one. Long on that one, trying to ride some of this wave in coal. The real move is Picard, man. 50 shares now up almost $150 on that at least. Just needed more buying power, but that thing's looking beautiful today. And some people would be like, well, why don't you add? I feel like it ruins my position so many times when I add on a really good level. There's HIMS back above 51 there, guys. So we got the break to 51. It just put in a 5-minute candle from 50.20 to 51.20. So big move there. METC.
So you're going to trade HIMS or you're going to trade the leveraged, the HIMZ?
The leverage one, I feel like I get stopped out more, man. These leverage ones, man, I'm trying to stay away from them. I'm just trying to go smaller with the other ones. It also gives you the ability to leave it a little more range. I feel like when I go into these leverage ones, I get too excited about trying to push too much, too fast on these names. I made some money on HIMS yesterday, but I also lost money early in the day. I just made the money back in the later part of the day. One thing I've noticed with HIMS is that it loves to rip and pull back completely through the range. So you got to sell the rips sometimes.
It's a crazy mover for sure.
Yeah. All I know is Picard, let it go. Let it go. Let's keep going, Picard. Let's make that bigger move. Boeing, did that news come out yet? I feel like if there's anything that's going to knock Boeing down, it might be that report from that flight that went down. I know it's expected in the next couple of days. That'll be an interesting report to see. Johnson & Johnson, of course, look at that move. That tells me more and more, maybe some value health coming into play. Look at Pfizer. That tells you it all. Pfizer's big move up there. So you're seeing some value health do well today. NVO getting a little push there. Merck, Lilly, XLV. Let's see it. Yeah, raw strong move in the XLV. What about the XRT, the retail trade? Yeah, seeing that retail shift for sure. KSS up big today. Advanced Auto Parts, that's a good one. It's a good push there. AAP is one that I've been watching, guys, and I can tell you right now, I missed this move, man. This is going to be one that I'll look back on and be like, you shouldn't have missed this, Mitch. Really nice gap. Earnings have changed. This has changed the whole kind of outlook here. It's getting strong. It's in a really nice spot right now, which is auto parts. Auto parts are just gaining because people aren't going to want to buy new cars. So that's looking really good there. METC now up of over 100. Looking for this to break through. Can it get through the 1650s? Can it keep going here? We'll see.
It's a nice look. It's a really nice chart, that METC.
Yeah.
Just intraday, just pull back, undercut VWAP just a little bit, rip back through.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a nice looking chart.
Yeah, it doesn't look bad at all there. Was able to get it at least for me underneath the VWAP. Now I really want to see 1550 holds. I'm in at 1549. looking for this to really kind of break through here and maybe potentially just break out, because you'll get the third resistance test here around maybe the 1640s. I might sell a good portion of it and then look to see if it breaks out above that 1640. All right, looking around out there, NVIDIA going back to 160. Yeah, it could do it. ABVE, small stock moving right now, guys. Just broke $1. This thing from 45 cents to $1. Nice move there. Penny game up 200%.
I interviewed the CEO of that company from on a different show.
Oh, nice.
Interesting. It's vegetarian stuff.
Oh, short it now.
I was like, oh, good. Good for you.
I wouldn't be the best guy for that interview.
No. Bitcoin making a nice little pop here. So
yeah, finally.
That could participate in some.
Yes, trying to, right?
Q's
The 2130
finding a
is a
low.
good level on BITO. MP. Let's see how that one works out.
Yeah, the SPY just right. I'll show you guys. Pretty much right to the 2-day VWAP. Perfect, right
Nice.
here. And then bounced and back through VWAP. So
BTU right back up to 15, guys. I got out of that one with a slight loss there. Was it a slight loss? No, it was actually break even. And then now it's cutting back through the 15, showing you that maybe this coal trade is for real.
someone's asking about my fear greed index with Fartcoin, and
we'll smash the like for a Fartcoin coverage here.
Again, if that chart looks like this, then people can't be worried about the economy. Like, look at this thing. If I took the name off this and I sent this to you and said, "What do you think of this chart, Mitch?" You'd say this looks amazing. Right?
Yeah, it doesn't look bad at all. Cup and handle pattern, really not a bad one. I saw a different one. It wasn't XRT, but it was a different one that looked interesting too. But yeah, meme coins are looking good. There's certain actual crypto coins that are looking good.
XLM.
That's the one. That's the one, Michael. Thank you. I know you would know it. I saw the chart itself. If I'm just, trying to stay in my, my lane as a technician, that's a buy any day.
Yeah, nice little broke the downtrend yesterday. Nice little kind of wedge tightening area.
All right, good move here, guys. I'm going to sell a good portion of that METC thing. I think it could pull back here. That's the main thing, right? So I'm just going to sell a good portion of it, let it keep going if it wants to go with a little bit more. But trying to get some out here towards like 16, 15s. The key is the spread. So trying to get some out in between the spread here.
I've got
17 and higher, but
I've got no trades in a while here. I think it's because of just the SPY candle, right? Not a lot of the stuff I was looking at was big cap tech, so I don't really get a huge advantage from that. So I've gotten my 10 trades, and now we're just kind of in wait and see mode.
Yeah, pullback's coming in a little bit. So you see how this is setting up for that pullback. It's right on the resistance here. It makes sense for it to come back to 1550s. And then try to reload and really go for the move here. So I'm trying to make some money here and then just let it try to make the move. So what I'm going to do is I'm setting the stop here at 1590s, and we'll look to see if it can hold that and then make the move. If not, it cuts me out. It cut me out, right there. Now we'll look for kind of the reload to come in and can come right back in it. Not a bad trade there, METC. And look at that Picard go, man. This is why I was like, I want more buying power. That looks great on the daily.
Swings are the way.
Yeah. Lithium overall. I say you look at Lith. I'm talking SQM. And I've been talking about making an investment in this for so long, Michael. I have a feeling if I don't do it today, I'm going to be mad about it in the long run. SQM is a really, really good opportunity here. You guys do your research. To me, this just looks pretty. I've been watching this downward trend line for a while. It's done this
Brazil,
in the
SQM.
past. It's Chile,
Uh,
the
gotcha.
number one lithium place in the world, is down from 2022 to where we are 70%. I like it. I like it,
There,
man.
there's an interesting. I'll see if I can find the name later, but there's an
ALB
interesting.
is a good one. The one that's really in the dumps, the North Carolina one, LAC, Lithium of Americas. If you're really trying to just bottom feed, right? But that SQM, I just feel like this is like, for me, there's very rare stocks and rare times where I'll tell you, I feel like, and I'll use the cliche, generational moment. To me, I think these are those types.
Yeah, if we're gonna keep doing it, right? If we're gonna keep doing the electric vehicle thing, right? We need lithium for vehicles, for robots, for
So many
right.
things, man.
It's not
And
plugged into the wall.
data
Right?
storage, like, you know what I mean? Like, these are the guys that can really team up with the data storage space and do better. METC did get me out there. Looking for a nice little pullback to get right back in it, but I like to give you guys these things early. And trust me, I wouldn't even mention SQM if I wasn't trying to, like, put something on the radar for you. Take a look at that. Make your own look inside the company, but I definitely would take a look. And if you want, if you're more just the the ETF guy, lit looks good too here, right? If you just wanted to say, hey, I don't know this space, I'm looking for some way to get kind of diversify into this. Lit, I think, looks really good. And we're talking long term, right? Stocks that have gone out of favor that could come back. Look at that dip recently. They dip them before they rip them. That's all I'm going to say. Josh Blinder coming in here. Maybe I even read that last name wrong. Let me put it a little bit bigger. I can't even see. My eyes failing me today.
Yeah, getting old. Getting
Yeah,
old.
yeah, man. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get. I don't want to get those glasses. There'll be 4 eyes over here.
No fun, man. I'm gonna get lasers in them, I think, at some point. Just
Yeah,
gotta get
yeah,
the
I'm with
nerve.
you, man. If I have to go to that level, I'll probably just be like, make me get some laser life. China working in Brazil, deals being made. I think it's interesting. I think it's definitely interesting about lithium. And the lit ETF to do well today shows you. And why is this doing well? Of course, MP. So somebody asked me, what about MP today? What about MP? Is it a buy, hold, sell? I was like, it's a no touch for me. It's if you're looking at it and you're trying to get this opportunity, right? But you use it as an indicator for the space, the industry, and you look around. Do the
Mhm.
other lithium players react like this one reacted because of the deal? Does this make lithium hot? Those are the types of things that I really focus on, guys. That's how you find the best swing trades. That's what I'll tell you right now, because what you can do, right, is try to you can't catch the leader sometimes because the news sometimes creates that leader, right? Now, MP leading the space right now. Now you look for the lag effect. What stock is getting some volume inflow today that can get driving?
Yeah, and you
Especially
know,
volume, right? You want to see volume.
yeah, with big sector themes like that, you can definitely get a shakeup
Oh,
across the spectrum, right? Across whether you're looking at large caps, small caps, micro caps, whatever.
mhm.
Yeah, big news like that can hit a little bit of everything.
Yeah. All right, guys. SPY still a little choppy though today. I will say that.
Yeah, the
No
Qs we
break
had
of the
that flush
range,
early.
dude. Where's the break of the range? What happened to this BTCM? Oh, it's doing the washout move.
Yeah, the SPY were closer to the high than the low, but right in the middle. And the Qs, right? That's where
Buying
your
that
downtrend is.
Solana. Solana.
Yeah, Bitcoin selling back a bit down.
Ouch.
I was doing okay, reversing just a little bit there.
MP is also a SPAC. Gotta mention those SPACs that do well, right?
Is it doing well? Oh, yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
It's
one
I
of those
saw
that actually did decent.
I saw $40, and I'm like, is that doing well, or is that just it's reverse split 1,000 times at 41? But no, this one's doing all right.
No, it's actually done, it's a good looking overall chart, right?
Well, I bet you. So I wonder if Chamath was part of that one. That
Dude,
might be the
that
move.
Pentagon deal has China trade deal written all over it. I'm just gonna say that right now.
Mm. But yeah, you
Why?
hear
Because what did we hear in the last conversations, the last round of conversations with China? Rare earth talk a lot, right? Then for the Pentagon to take this, and I know MP, I've already done the research because I talked to the CEO. A lot of exposure where? China. That to me has inside like kind of conversations like no other. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Also, don't forget, and I keep bringing this up where no one brings this up. Right now, it is legal to bribe foreign officials for deals.
have at it. Crime is legal. Get to it.
You,
Let's do some
you don't
crime.
hear this kind of stuff mentioned on CNBC with that MP deal. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't think there's somebody making money on this? I mean, if you think that, I don't think you're. I think you're a little gullible. But hey, we'll see what happens. SPY just rejecting there, kind of just choppy around, man. Just choppy.
Yeah, I'm
Made
looking
a
back at
decent
the
trade today,
airlines
but
here.
not seeing
Right,
much, man.
the first short on that Delta
Yeah, I'll bring you
missed,
up here.
but
Let's get you up.
yeah, grinding back to highs. Breaks back through VWAP, I might take it again.
Love, man, love.
But yeah, just doing well considering these are shitty industries, really bad ones.
Should have got the love, man. Should have just got the love.
That's the thing is I don't know anything about these places because for me it's Air Canada or nothing.
No, see the thing is that you got to look for beaten down names that change sometimes. So of course, the love is in the gutter. Like it's as hated as can be when it was used to be a very loved stock. That's when the investors, the ones that know the books, can get in, while everybody keeps like talking about how they got their flight canceled by love, right? And that's why they hate them now. Well, let them hate them. We might be able to make profits off of that, right?
So here's just give a quick update to the
James, the
14
SPAC attack
positions now.
days. Hey, I still that Chamath lucid call though.
Here's the current positions.
Lots and lots of trading, baby.
There's a lot. So
Let the tickers fly.
I think another thing that's important here, you notice that the P&L is nowhere on the screen, and that's because I don't care. Like I don't want to see that number. And this goes way back to my days where I used to prop trade for a living. In like 20 years ago, I just put like tape all on my screen everywhere that it would display P&L. I don't care. So I've got this P&L offset number that's in Trader Evolution, and this just shows how much the positioner is up or down, right? So you see most of these positions are up, and I'm interested in that. And then I'm going to add, I think, the exposure number. Oh no, I have it right here. just to show how much money is in or out of the position, to make sure there's nothing there that's huge, right? If something comes through, it's $25,000 account. So if something comes through at 10 grand, I want to look at that. But the P&L number is not there. So I don't really know what's going on. And that's just, again, just a little mental trick that I think can help a lot of people, because that's not what you should be focused on, because that's not what matters, right? What matters is the setup. What matters is the reason you got in. What matters is the reason you got out. So I'm looking at, I have the chart open, and I'm looking at the chart as the trade comes through, and I'm saying, okay, does this line up? Is it lining up with the alerts and the indicators that I built and all of that? So I'm monitoring those things. I am not monitoring profit and loss, because again, I don't care. It doesn't affect me, right? It's not interesting to me in any way, right? What's interesting is it doing what I have the bot set up to do? And if so, then if I don't make money in the long run, then I know it's the bot that's wrong, right? The back tests that I've done, the system that I've created. But it's just try it. Remove P&L from your screen as much as you can. Trade the way you would normally trade, and see how you feel. I think it's one of those things that
it's one of those things that you guys see me do it here to be transparent with you guys, but yeah, I'd put it away if I could, but I try to be transparent and show you guys the cash there, so you guys can see the position. Does it create emotions? 100%. It's always going to create emotions when you're seeing that net P&L. So just things to think about, right? I think the important thing is always just figuring out what your levels are and just focusing on those levels, right? Especially if you're subjective and making those decisions.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I reach out to TraderView to see how to do it, because I think it's possible. Is I can share the journal. So every night I'm going through and I'm journaling each of the trades, right? So again, for a quant, a journal doesn't mean this is what I had this morning and I felt good at this time. It's not that. It is, right? I put in all the trades that happened, and then I tag them from which setup they came from, so that at the end of the day, I can go through and I can start looking and saying, this is the setup that's doing well, this is the setup that's doing poorly. So for that kind of transparency aspect, I'm just looking to see how I can share the journal. But if you don't, actually, just I'll share this here. If you don't, you just
see looking good.
Share screen. And this one, right? So this is what the TraderView journal looks like. And if you don't, this is the most important part of trading. If you don't have a journaling software like this, you should. So right now, this is kind of the 2 days that I've been running the bot in. There's only one trade on Monday, so I just going to skip that. But you can look at, you can see all your vital statistics, right? Some of this exists in the Trade the Pool backend. But what I think it's really important to get a journaling software for is, right, again, these are all the different tons and tons of stats you can look at and go through. But the main thing is, if you look at the trades, I tag them with different setups, right? So this is a VWAP fade. This one was a ATR fade. That's one of the setups I have. The SDS, it's another setup. So you can start to go through after doing this for weeks and months, and you can say which of your setups is doing well, which of your setups is doing poorly, where do you need to adjust? Is there times at work? If once you're kind of building up your own data, and then periodically you export that data and you start manipulating it in Excel and running it. So that's how I'm doing that. So at the end of every night, I just go to Trader Evolution and I just right click here and I export these trades, and it goes right into TraderView. Takes me 10 minutes at the end of the night to go and tag them all. Say there's 20 trades, right? It takes a couple seconds per trade to tag them to where they're supposed to go. And then you can take a look at, and over time, it's just you have to, right? If there's one thing when traders come to me and say, I'm struggling, I say, what's your journaling practice? And quite often it's none. And that's the problem, because if you don't record them, how do you learn, right? How do you know what's working, what's not working, if you're not recording those? So set that up as a practice. But yeah, that's what I'm doing. And I'm going to look how, I don't know how, but I remember talking to the TraderView guy and they said it was possible. So I just need to open it up. I think there's just be like a shareable link. So for the people who want to follow along, they can do that.
Yeah, you got to. You got to. And if you don't have a journaling platform, you don't want to pay for it. You can use different things. Of course, there's different what was a thing that I used to use? I don't use it anymore. I forgot what it was. There was this program I used to use before when I didn't want to pay a service.
If you really want to go hardcore, you could do Excel, but
Oh,
I just think,
I remember
right?
Evernote.
Yes, but that's more
It's
about like the problem. When I mean journaling, I want to be able to just click a button, export every trade I've ever taken into Excel, and
Mhm.
have right all of that data. Right, a lot of
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
is journal as in like writing about how you're feeling and taking pictures of the setup and doing all that. But when I mean journaling, I mean you're recording all of the data of the actual trade, because one of the big things that we have to do as uh, technicians, as statistical traders, is we have to constantly go back and we got to make sure that the things that are in our back tests match the things that are getting traded in the real world. Because if those two worlds start to split, which happens all the time, that's the first thing that happens, right? But again, Excel is fine, and if you're a master of Excel, go nuts. I just think for the $20 a month or something that journaling software costs, and if you're buying a trade the pool account, you can pick Trader View as your kind of software boost thing there. It's just so insanely ridiculously worth it. If there's one thing that will change your trading
Long
forever,
BTCM.
is journaling, right? There's no other thing that will make a bigger difference to your trading.
Long BTCM here, guys. I think it's bottomed out at the fives, and I think you're starting to see some volume come back in.
ETCM.
I'm going to also take METC again here, guys. So I'm long two different names. I sized down a little bit on that METC because now the move is essentially, for me, it should go for a breakout move. So we'll see if we get it. That's a move back above 16s. Can risk about $80 on that trade there. There's BTCM now into the green there. Looking to add on this thing here, guys, if it can pull back towards like 520s, but it might just keep flying here through the 550s. Yeah, it's getting the buy there through the 550s. I'm going to add here and look for a pullback to even add a little bit more, 530s, 525s. Looking for this to really run now.
SPY range bound still, can't get going in either direction, and the Qs have kind of bottomed out.
There's a nice little push here off the first start there of about 10 cents there. Nothing big just yet.
Yeah, the Qs are looking like we potentially found a bottom here. Who knows for sure, but
Who knows?
yeah, it's looking one of those. So
All right, guys,
yeah,
you guys see me in two trades here. Let's see how they work out. METC has great potential. So even I think 400 shares is pretty big here. We'll see if this can get going. Got an alert there. Heard the sound pop off. Question is, where's the alert? There it is. Oh, AMD. Greater
yeah, I
equal
was gonna
to
say, yeah,
5.
AMD made a new high.
Yeah.
Just looking at that.
AMD was down there to 142.50. Should have taken the swing on that bad boy. Look at that daily chart. Oh, pretty. Pretty.
And I think it's just important to tap on that too, where not only are we seeing, we're seeing the Qs got hammered pretty hard this morning.
Mm-hmm.
The SPY didn't. So that's just a split showing that some sectors are doing great, some sectors are doing poorly. But the fact that we're seeing AMD rocket and then a lot of other semiconductors down shows that not only are we getting rotation across sectors, but then we're also getting rotation within sectors, right? So just very much, a stock pickers market, if you want to say that. And you just have to focus on where the trend is, right?
Yeah,
pay attention.
Exactly that. And I'd be thinking about it like that too, guys. Stock pickers environment is all about staying with the strength, and that's when you get more micro than macro. And so you got to really kind of hone in on names that are doing well. Also, rotation from growth to value, right? Apple doing well today also shows more rotation to that value tech than just growth tech. It's not just growth tech. We saw a lot of value names doing well in healthcare and continuing to do well. So you're seeing some rotation to value. And it's not all the names, right? But they're taking some of the money and taking it to value names. We'll see if Coke can get off the ground here after that recent one. Look at Pepsi pushing a little bit there. AMD pushing strong there. Let's go back to BTCM, see how that's performing here.
It's
There's
going to
that
be
530, 525 reload there. I talked about the reload area. They came in so fast and bought that 530. So let's see if they really take it now.
well, at least so far, right? A lot of time and room to go, but at least so far, Bitcoin came back and held pretty much perfectly that 110, 110 and a half area that we were talking about. So looks like Bitcoin might be on the up, which certainly can't hurt.
Yeah, no,
position.
won't hurt. That's for sure. All right, fun part is I can use that last 525, 523 low as the risk now. 520s is going to be my risk in this BTCM. And we'll look to see if it can keep going. If it breaks back through 5, I don't want to be in it. So it's a good level here to push off the 9 EMA. METC looking for that rip back through the 16s. I'll actually add if it rips towards 16. So on 16, I'm going to go for an add. I'll go for a stop add if it gets up there.
Apple to the rescue. Yeah. Wow.
Oh, value tech. There it is.
Rip on Apple today.
I mean, this is also, to me, front running the China deal. I keep mentioning it, guys. I think the action that we're seeing in tech names, and that's why I said that, like, I know that people are hating on Amazon Prime Day and stuff. Watch how Amazon is going to tell you trading on Prime Day is not the edge to be trading on, man. I have that feeling we'll be seeing that thing shift to right back up.
Yeah, I don't get people that
they're like, oh no, but the first day is down this much. I'm like, the first day though, guys, the deals aren't done. And trust me, if there's one thing that Amazon knows how to do, push a sale.
Well, and only under half of their business has anything to do with the Amazon store. Amazon Web Services is over half your business anyway. So yeah, even if things aren't doing the best from this one, particular side of things, we've got other areas that are doing fantastic. Like,
how's Netflix? Oh, pulling back a little. Did Disney ever break out? Nah, they don't like Disney. In two silly longs. I'm with you, Tag. Take that money, man. AMDL is just hard for me. It's so small. It's so small. But you can trade it similarly. I mean,
careful that AAPX. Not a lot of volume there.
Yeah, not a lot of volume on that one. What's the other Apple one? Let me see.
Something PU.
AAPU. Yeah, PU is the one that I'd use, the directions one.
Oh, yeah. A lot more volume there.
Yeah, and then there's also the Granite one, AAPB. I like that one a little more. But I
how many 2x
that's a little bit better.
Apple plays doing?
To me, I like that one a little better, volume-wise.
It's gotten almost too easy to open ETF.
I'm not a big fan of it. I just think it just creates slop. Doesn't really help.
Yeah, well, eventually, if people don't want to trade them, right, they'll just kind of fade into existence.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Over time.
sounds bad, but there's certain like ETF makers that I'm just like, dude, why are you even around still? No one even buys this thing. Like, how do you get paid? But hey, that's not my job.
Yeah.
Looking for a recovery here in BTCM. It's right off that bottom there. Not looking the best in those trades now.
The looking here, yeah, the SPY just broke out to new highs. So it broke the pre-market high, it broke last day's post-market high, and looking pretty good.
Yeah, SPY pushing strong there. Could be a way to maybe play that MSTR off the VWAP right here. I like how it's tried to undercut a couple of times that VWAP.
Yeah. So the Qs maybe drag them up because the Qs are bouncing. They got this double bottom action. They're bouncing up just a little bit. That's good look, right? For that, and being led by, as a boomer, I kind of like that we're being led by healthcare, we're being led by financials or industrials. It kind of makes you feel a little bit better that there's not just an AI related bubble or anything like that, but actual people building stuff under the hood. And that's why you have XLI doing what it's doing.
I still would say it's still a bubble, but we'll keep it there.
Sure. Well, it just goes to show you today we don't even need the Qs to go up in order for the market to go up. So let the bubble pop then, and let it all go to zero.
No, let's just keep going. Let's ride the wave, man.
The SPY will be ripping, and everyone.
This is usually where we're at in the bubble is usually the time when the big turnaround's coming is when you get the bigger rip. Like let's say like 97 in the market, right? Like you got to think like kind of maybe your financial crisis time, like when did the market really take off? And I think those are the types of things that I'd be looking at. Takeoff years. We could have a takeoff year, man. Who knows? Maybe we get all the way up to like 650, 700, and then finally start coming back down. Right?
Yeah, we could, right? It's
right. At the end of the day.
People, it's funny. People just look at the year-end number and say, "Oh man, what a crazy," and they forget about the two bear markets we had back to back. Still, a lot of people forget about 2023, like it was a million years ago. The SPY is getting close to yesterday's high, so a little bit maybe getting near an outside day, but not quite yet. Just kind of broke that for a second, right back down through. So need to see that kind of stick the landing, get something moving.
SoFi still running. Oh, right back to 21. SoFi. It's hard to open up new trades in the swing account when I just see Picard just continuing. Just leave it going. There's no point.
And DAL still doing great. All of these AAL, obviously the leader there. That thing's just a monster rocket ship.
Love is the same. I don't know the percentage wise, but it looks similar.
Yeah.
Takeoff.
So yeah, just right. This is why if I am looking to short something, it's going to be DAL because it's just the weakest of the bunch, right? Go look for that initial.
Yeah, it's also the one that had the news, right? It had the news, right? It's not to buy the rumor; it's to sell the news. The rumor is essentially on the other airlines, expecting them to have good earnings, right? So we'll see what happens there.
We're getting getting close to running out of buying power. Not quite yet, but we're getting
FCX
close.
looking good on the recovery for copper trade. If you guys like that copper trade, it's starting to look better today than yesterday. But that's SCCO and FCX, right?
Mhm.
Let's see
Yeah,
if
Bitcoin.
BTCM can really get going here, guys. Starting to get back towards the 550s. It just needs to get hot here through the 550s.
I like that we've pulled back and we retested that kind of 110.5 that happened back through here. And right, you can see also back through here, like 110, 110.5. We tested that, and then so far we've held that really well. That's exactly what you'd like to see on that side of things. So that's perfect. Because again, I just think we need to see some continuation there. SPY held, tried to put in a couple bottoming tails. Look like we're going to continue higher. So this could drag the Qs that are just currently sitting at VWAP potentially up to, break through that, maybe the 2-day VWAP. Just crazy to see. Right? These are all the major areas that I watch, and everything is green except the Qs. Right, the Dow doing really well. RSP, which is your equally weighted large cap stock. So the SP 500 obviously still pretty cap weighted, tech weighted. This one's equally weighted, just ripping, showing that the average large cap stock is like mooning today. And even IWM, junky little IWM, is able to get going today.
METC starting to go in the right direction, guys. We'll look for an ad above 16 there. Still battling here with BTCM. It keeps going up and down. I did take a little bit of an ad there on the touch of 550. So looking for a 550 run here. See if we can finally get it. BTCM.
Pop over there.
BTCM, let's go. There's METC starting to get in the right direction there. It's about to hit my ad here, guys. So sometimes I like to do this where like I have almost a feeling it's going to hit the stop ad right at 16, right? So as soon as it starts going into like the middle of these 15s, I'm going to bring the stop to the offer, or I could just put up a limit on the bid. There's also stop limit orders, right, that you can do. There goes BTCM up to 560s now. Good little lift off on that. Went to 564 there, guys. So I'm taking some shots now, guys. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, nice little push. Again,
There's the
doesn't
push
hurt
on
that
METC.
doesn't hurt that we've got crypto moving a little bit. So hopefully that
Let's
helps you out.
go, METC. All right, looking good in this METC. Love that I sold earlier move. Now we're on the trend line break, right? Trend line touch right here. I could either sell some here or look for the continuation. I'm looking for continuation breaking towards 1640s, maybe even riding up to 17 here for METC. Got 500 shares on the first rip towards like 1650s, 1660s. I'm willing to sell half of it and then look for the remainder to keep running here. Looking good there, guys. Looking good on these trades. I got to watch them because they're fast trades, right? So
Apple with a little bit of a pullback there. So the Q's still going. Tesla just chopping about.
all right. I don't know if this is the time for BTCM, so I'm going to hold break even on this, looking to let it run. If it runs, I have more than the size needed to make a huge gain there. So, especially with METC in such a green position, like I'd rather go break even with one and then go focus on one, right? So that's what I'm going to do. METC, I feel like it's a better position. I'm up 220, but I'm just going to go break even on that BTCM and just let it work, right? BTCM is right there. It could break to the VWAP. Just that move alone is $1.30. I got 600 shares, right? So the money's there to be made if it's going to go. Let's see what happens. It's coming back a little bit there. I'm going to put the 540s. I gave it a little bit of a room there. I have a feeling you might touch the 90 MA. 90 MA is 45 here. Really looking for buyers to step up at 550s. And you can see it went right to my 540 real quickly. Might be trying to stop me out. So I'm going to give myself a penny or two there, especially as METC take off, baby. Up 310 now. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Looking to sell some here. Boom, just sold half there, guys. I talked about 1640s, trying to sell some up there. METC just sold some into that rip there. Boom, nice little sell there. Now looking for the rest of it to keep on running now. Keep on running. Now it can go break even. Looking for a run to 17 on this, and maybe even above. We'll just watch it now. It's expanding away and breaking out. Can measure the flag for an extension. That's about $2 from about 1550s. So, hey, maybe 1750s top target here. We'll see what happens. Let's go. Now going back towards, of course, that BTCM. It's back in the green, but I definitely don't want it to go through this support here. So through the 540s, I'm willing to get out and then get back in. That's giving me a $22 of risk right now, and then looking for a bigger breakout, a $600 gain. I'll risk 22 for 600 anytime. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, that's the real ticket to trading right there. It doesn't matter how often you're right. You get a couple of those big hits for small risks. You could be wrong 70% of the time plus, and you'll still do very, very well. We talk about it all the time. A lot of the best traders on earth, they have negative win rates, and they just right. They're looking for asymmetric risk reward. They're looking to hit a home run a couple times and just keep their risk very, very small all the times that they strike out to smack that home run.
And the more you're willing to deal with the low average and hit doubles and homers, if you can handle that, if you're that type of hitter, well, there you go. Now up there at $61, right? Now it looks like breakout cities coming on BTCM. I canceled the stop because I don't want them to see me there. Still am willing to cut at 540, but if I leave it there, oh boy, do they come and get me at the moments like this. So I just stop it. I let it go here, and I'm watching the action. I'm not going to look away, but I'll just watch the action here. Needs to really get some buying through the 550s.
My MP short starting to pay just a little bit there.
There you go, MP.
So that's getting close to a
MP
2-day
short.
VWAP.
Not a bad way to look at it. SPY above there, almost 625, guys. We're going for a little bit of a break. I still haven't seen the VIX break the low. That's interesting, but yeah, SPY is doing well here. I need to go to the sectors, but I'm just a little focused in on this trade.
No, I'll cover that, right? So the SPY is moving. Where again, just it's been the same kind of story all day. We got
40
tech,
trading right now.
tech down, right? Netflix, Palantir, ServiceNow, all these things are down. Finance up across the board, health up, manufacturing up, retail up. It's just one of those. If you're in big cap tech right now, you're in the wrong trade. So this rotation continues. Let's see if we just rotate right back tomorrow, or if this is going to be a trend. I, for one, love this kind of stuff because it just means that there is more. There's more potential trades to take, right? If it's only big cap tech working, then the NASDAQ 100 only has 100 names in it. The Russell 2000 has 2,000 names in it. I'd much rather be trading 2,000 names.
This is just cut out of that BTCM there out $25, guys. Set myself up. I'll take that cut. ASST, another company that's doing this Bitcoin mining like thing, right? Setting up today, guys. It's interesting. This thing traded 91 million shares when the news came out. Who knows? Doesn't look too bad there.
Yeah, that was one of the original Treasury ones I remember.
Right?
They're not late to the party anyway, which is probably when this whole thing unwinds. It's probably the same order it unwinds in. It's the newest guys that jumped on the bandwagon later are probably going to get hit first because they're going to have higher prices and all that kind of stuff. And
SBET going higher here now. You're starting to get some of those names to push, right? So, hey.
Well, with Bitcoin holding, right, it's held the 110. It's doing kind of what we talked about in the morning that it needs to do to give people confidence because it hit 110 like 5 times and just got reversed. So it needs to hold that 110 area from above just to say yes. Whoever was shorting there or selling to keep us down or whatever it is, that person is gone, and we can go, right? We were at the highs.
Shipper name doing well today. That's something to keep an eye out. Toro. Not going to trade it today. I'll keep this one on the radar. These shippers go. They have a tendency sometimes of really pushing. And I can tell you guys that there's very rare times I get stocks like this to show up on my scanner. So not feeling too mad that METC is showing up on my kind of like penny stock scanner that I have. This is a high day scanner with a 5% pullback, but it just goes to show you, like, man, that's not, at least I'm not in the wrong stock there. There goes METC. Nice little push there. Look at that. Let's go. Let's go. Shout out to the guy in the chat. My man looking out there. Wally, where you at? Wally. Going out to lunch, my friend?
Ooh, yeah, that's a nice push.
Wally.
Nice shout out.
Wally, man. I'm here for you, my friend. Let's go shopping. All right, guys, let's sell a little bit more here, guys, and just let this party keep on riding on here.
Yeah, one of those, if it's good enough to celebrate about, right? It's probably good enough to take a little bit off the table.
Took a little more there, right?
I love the Wall Street bets, the saying of, right, if it's good enough to screenshot, it's good enough to sell. Like, that's, of all the dumb stuff Wall Street bets does, that's the one thing that makes a whole lot of sense.
Really pretty setup here also on the 15-minute, right? Like, that's as pretty or like add this one to the CMT book, like that kind of thing. Like, that's pretty right there on the 15-minute. You don't get too many times where it's that pretty. That's symmetrical, right? That was pretty there. Off the 9, 15, nice pattern here. Then when it broke above, got the volume. Now it needs volume to kind of come back to that throwback look and then really kind of step up, which would be a move to 16. So you got to keep that in mind, right? It could come back like a throwback look, 16, 20, 16. But nice move there in METC.
For sure.
Yeah.
Now, for closing thoughts on the market, I really don't know what to say. This is the most bifurcated I've seen in a long time, the SPY versus the Qs.
Yeah.
So just know that that's something special, right? That's showing you, if you didn't see the rotation before, it slapped you right across the face to do it now, with the Qs down that much and the SPY up that much. So, if you're someone who's just addicted to only trading large cap tech, you better get your short pants on.
Yes, we talked about them.
Yeah,
gotta be able to trade
everything. You're gonna have a good time.
Also, it's okay to just say, maybe I'll come back when tech gets hot, but you got to do that. You have to do that, right? Like, it can't be but I saw the stock move to 50 cents and then now I think tech's back. You have to be smart. You have to be very smart in those times. I talk about it all the time. When rotation goes against you, there's two options, right? You're either going to hang on and you're going to break even out, or you take your money on, take your money off, and that's always a position. A position is just being in cash also, and just being like, hey, at this moment, I've taken some swings, I've made some gains, I think the momentum's deteriorating some, I'm seeing rotation go away from my names, I want my money, right?
Well, yeah, and even if you go back to paper, while you say, okay, I'm going to learn more, I'm going to paper trade some biotechs or something like that.
Procter Gamble, figure out how I can, when I need to, play defensive names, right? When I can, like, kind of shift out. Like, if I'm thinking, okay, there's a shift in tech, a lot of times, where does that shift go? It goes defensive, right? So how can I play those types of names? Maybe you're practicing that trade, right?
Yeah, just know that we could be in for a while. Like, these rotations, when they happen, they can happen. The biggest test that I saw is about 3 months, 3 to 6 months is usually the average kind of rotational cycle. So it's not like it could just reverse tomorrow. We don't know anything, but the odds are that this rotation under the hood is going to persist for another couple months, because it's been doing it for about a month now.
And I think the consumer sentiment shift is really interesting here. Look at Target going higher. This is why I mentioned the apparel names. Look at this apparel store, Boots Barnes, just ripping higher. Dollar Tree ripping higher. Even AEO getting a move today. Starting to see that shift, guys, where things go to the cyclical names, and those names were in the gutter. Macy's ripping higher. That tells me everything I need to know. Because
Yeah.
Macy's is at one day is going to be a serious story, guaranteed at least. I feel like, but hey, we'll see what happens. Definitely seeing that push higher. ANF is one name that I can maybe jump on this, or Lulu, something like that. You see how it's going higher there. Nike was on the support this morning, and look how Nike reacted. So you put it to the 9 EMA, and boom, right back up. Says, forget your gap. I ain't going to your gap. Your gap is crap. There it is. Nike. On is one that I like, and Crocs in the long run to see if that can come back into play. Of course, we're talking growth stocks. So if Crocs starts moving, this one doesn't look bad. What do you think about this pattern here on Crocs?
Crocs, I'm always
The
amazed.
shoes with holes, man.
Hey, I got a pair. They're awesome. But you're bumming around the backyard by the fire. But I'm just shocked that it's $107 stock. But it's a really nice looking chart. It looks great. If apparel is going to do well, that's fine. They didn't get hit as hard as a lot of people out there.
Yeah, it doesn't look bad here.
There's some
At least
strength
I
there
think so.
for sure.
Doesn't look bad, right?
Yeah.
XRT though also, Ross stores, those cheaper stores, and don't forget what's coming. There's a part of this that's retail is seasonality also with back to school coming back. That's why I was like, don't count out Amazon just yet. Don't count it out just yet, because we all know how these moms work. They're ready to buy back to school stuff way early if they see it on sale. So I have a feeling you'll start seeing some more back to school mentions on Amazon shortly.
Yes, absolutely. Well, guys, that was a fun
Crazy
one.
day. Look at it. 11:04.
Very
I didn't even
exciting.
notice, man. The time flew by today, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and
Well, and
stick around. Stick
it's
around.
funny just because the last day was the exact opposite. I remember staring at the clock, waiting, and just shows there's some days that
Time flies.
you gotta trade in those days where everything seems to be going fast, because it means there's stuff going on.
Yeah. In this case, I'm gonna actually set a stop here, guys. Towards like I'll put it towards like 1620s, and I'll just let this kind of ladder in for the rest of METC. 1750 max target. Really good trading day on that name. That ticker alone gave me over $300 today. I'm at 247 for the day. Even if I cut it right now, still would be over $300 day. Not a bad day at all. We'll just keep battling, guys. Picard on the swing. We talked about the swing strategy a lot. A lot of it is looking for those quick dips below. That's what Picard did. That's why I jumped in it, right? We got to keep looking for these stocks that set up on dailies. And then on that day, you're looking for a washout, not necessarily to get out, but to get in on that washout. That's where I think the important part of this trade is, and the mindset you have to have. You almost have to be like, I really like this name. Today I'm watching for a washout. I'm watching, like waiting, instead of like, oh, I'm eager to buy this thing today. No, I'm eager to look for the washout, because that can wash the bulls and I can jump in and potentially be a better bull by waiting and being patient, right? All right, Michael, hope the building gets done quickly and you get out of the kitchen as fast as you can, man.
I miss my nice office chair for sure.
Yeah, at least get some good lunch since it's right behind you.
Yeah, exactly.
Have a good one, man. Take care. And everyone out there that hung out with us, all you guys, take care, guys. We'll see you next time.